Yo, what's good? It's Truce. To start this video, I've got that 23 elimination gameplay where we lost. I thought that was so funny and honestly something I'd rather watch than someone winning with 23 eliminations. I don't take the stuff that serious, so I'm not hating on my teammates at all for us losing, especially in an LTM. After that first gameplay, I have another 23 elimination game, but that time we won and I only had 4 deaths in it. So I'll start with changes to the mode I think could make it more fun if they wanted to add this mode again. Then I'll go over some of the things I liked about the mode. I know there was a pretty mixed reaction with this LTM, and at first I didn't even really like it, to be honest, but it kind of grew on me. My major complaint with this LTM was how long the invulnerability lasted whenever you'd respawn. You definitely should be untouchable once you respawn, so you're not just getting stuck in a spawn trap the whole game. But you could respawn and dash into a launch pad right away, and by the time that was over with, you'd be like halfway across the map and still not taking damage. That part isn't such a big issue really, but it was because of the fact that you would have your RPG ready to use again, and it was just basically like a free elimination off of your respawn. So I think there's 2 different ways that could fix this. The first would be to make the invulnerability period shorter, or another way would be to make it so if your RPG wasn't reloaded upon dying, you'd have to reload it in your next life. I don't think having to continue the cooldown from the previous life for your RPG would be that fun, so I think this would be a pretty good middle ground. The next change I'd want for this mode has to do with the boundary wall. At first I really disliked that the nades would explode on this, but I actually thought this was a good idea after my first few games of playing it. I ended up liking it because it would have just been too easy to run away from a fight and head towards a launch pad, and then you'd have a better chance at surviving since the enemies would have to hit you midair. But what I really wanted was to be able to place a jump pad on the boundary wall. I'm not sure if I'd want that for other modes, but I thought it would have been fun for this mode and would have allowed for some cool clips. I think making the reload speed on the CL40 at maybe a tiny bit faster would have been good though. I think a little bit shorter of a respawn delay would have made it more fun as well, since it was already just a 3v3. 8 seconds seemed a little bit too long, and I think like 5 or 6 seconds would have been nice. When I first played this mode, I actually really disliked it, mostly because I was hoping it would have been 5v5, but I ended up not minding that it was only 3v3. I think testing a 5v5 version would be cool, but they just need to increase the size of the map by a little. When it comes to what I enjoyed about this LTM, the combination of having a jump pad with a dash that let you do a mid-air jump after was so sick. The hip firing being 100% accurate was great as well. The cooldowns on the dash and the abilities were perfect, and so was the CL40 having 10 shots. I think what really held this mode together was the fact that it had low grav. Without that, you'd be falling way too quick, which would make it so difficult to hit people mid-air. And on top of that, the mode would be less reliant on direct impact shots if you couldn't stay in there that long. The amount of launch pads was great too. It felt smooth enough to traverse the map with them. The length of matches worked perfectly as well, since a mode like this shouldn't have 10-minute games. I really enjoyed the heavy hitters LTM, but it just felt like the games would end too quick, and I don't even know for sure if those matches were actually shorter, but it definitely felt like that to me. I also definitely get why there was only 1 map for this, since Bernal in that section is pretty wide open, and a bunch of the other maps would have just too much area for you to be able to hide in. But I think having some variety, maybe if they could make some changes to buildings or like do some duck and cover kind of thing. Otherwise, honestly, I would have really enjoyed having like a brand new map for it, like how heavy hitters did. Even though there was only that 1 map for heavy hitters as well, it just felt more refreshing because at least I haven't played that map a bunch of times in other modes. But I definitely get that they're a pretty small studio, so it's super impressive that they're even able to put stuff out like this frequently. Overall, I think I had just as much fun in this LTM as I did in heavy hitters. I am the MGL32 CEO, and I do have a good amount of time with the CL40, so there's definitely some bias there, but I can definitely see how some people didn't really enjoy this one that much. I really would like to see more LTMs and just crazy outlandish stuff like this that feels so different than the rest of the game, and even if it's ones that I don't really enjoy personally, I just really enjoy seeing them experiment with things like this. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments, if you thought I had the worst takes possible or if you agreed with some. I hope you guys enjoyed, and take care.